Yo, welcome back to another video on the Portapack H2 Hacker F1. Today we are going over Pocsag RX. Pocsag RX is pretty simple, is the paging protocol that is used still today like an old school pager. People use it in hospitals and emergency communications, and ham radio, and simple devices such as your restaurant pagers and many other areas. Diving into it, let's go over a brief history of Pocsag. So you can follow along here on Wikipedia if you'd like. I just typed in Wikipedia Pocsag, and we are looking at the radio paging code number 1. Okay, radio paging code number 1 is usually hereafter called Pocsag. It stands for Post Office Code Standardization Advisory Group. It was developed in 1976 through a group of engineers that wanted to explore the possibility of developing a new code for a worldwide paging system, right? In 1981, it was successful, and the ITUR and the CCIR adopted it, right? So modulation that it uses is FSK. I know that there's different modulations now, but that was the original modulation. It is based on a plus 4.5 kilohertz shift on the carrier signal. So its transmission runs on 32 blocks. Although the address is also referred to as RIC, Radio Identity Code, or a CAP code, Channel Access Protocol Code, is transmitted as 18 bits. The actual address is 21 bits long. The remaining 3 bits are derived from which of the 8 pairs of code words in the batch address is sent. That probably doesn't mean a lot to you, but when you get into programming your pagers, the CAP code or RIC code matters greatly, because that's how you're able to receive said signals. Well, not really receive, but also transmit from the Portapack H2 to an actual pager. The reason why we had the Flipper Zero here is because the Flipper Zero can do some Pocsag stuff. You can look into Flipper Zero and all that fun stuff if you got one. So for now, we're gonna just move him out of the way, because not really pertaining to this video since we're going off of the Portapack H2. Okay, so diving into Pocsag. If we go to our little menu here, right, our frequency area, off the bat, let's just zoom in some more, okay? We have our frequency up top. We have our LNA, our VGA, and our gain. Standard as any other signal that we are receiving. So the 48, all right, so right here we have our squelch, and then we have our volume. Over here on the bottom area, the little pager icon, that is the decode status. If there was anything being received, that little 0 down there, right there, would be then going to a number of sorts, which is the batch count. That is how many, I guess, units of data the signal has received. Your next area, these little lines way over here, that is your bit, your sync code words, which we just described earlier, right? And then your baud rate. So standard baud rate for most Pocsag is going to be 1200. So let's just leave it at that for now. And then you have your config file, or your config area over here. You can enable log. You can log raw data. You can use small font. You can hide bad data and hide addresses only. So that's kind of how I have mine set for now. Let's start with the restaurant paging system, okay? And we're going to zoom out right here. So we're going to move these 2 pagers out of the way for now. And we're going to move this out of the way. We'll get to that later on. So on the restaurant pager, we have 57. That's the Smart Stack Pro by Pager Tech. The back here, we can see the frequency of what this pager operates on, right? So we're looking at 457.575 megahertz. Okay, there's our FCC ID too. So if you didn't know, if this frequency wasn't there, you could look at frequencies by going to the FCC ID, typing in that number, and then it'll pull up the schematics as well as the data sheet that has been provided to the FCC, because most and almost everything in the U.S. that is some sort of radio has to go through an FCC ID registration. Okay, and we'll get to why that's important later on. We're going to leave it at that. We have our frequency here, 457.575. So if I go to the PagerTech sending device here, right, we're going to move, actually no, we're going to leave the Portapack there because we need that there in frame. So this is a pretty simple device. We're going to type in, that's our number, 57, enter number. There we go, that's what you want. Okay, so we're going to go 5, 7. Now, you're going to want to watch. We're going to zoom this lens in right here to the Portapack H2. Because when I hit send, you're going to see some stuff happen here. Ready? And go. We saw that we got 2 hits on that counter, right, that we discussed earlier, the batch count, okay? We got to see over here, we got to see the bits, the sync code word, and the baud rate. And then we have all this data here that we can look at. This data is a lot of ignored stuff because that's where I have it set to. It's ignoring kind of that weird raw data, right? We're going to go ahead and send this signal again from the PagerTech transmitter to the actual pager, and then we're going to look again and see what the Portapack H2 brings up. Remember, keep an eye right there. That's kind of what we want to see. We'll zoom in this time, get a little closer on that. Hopefully it'll focus. All right, and send. Again, we got to see it sent to what looks to be like the batch signals, right? And then we got to see all this fun raw data come through. And that's kind of what a Pocsag signal looks like. Now, that's simple enough with the PagerTech, okay? So that's pretty simple, right? So we're gonna go ahead and move this out of the picture now, because now if we get into actual pagers, okay? This pager, well, both these pagers were bought off of eBay. This is an Apollo Pilot. It would cost me $36. It used to be used in the med field. It is a ALA 26 Pilot S and B, which you can't see because my fat fingers are, there we go. It's got a frequency of 1685250. And I don't remember the RIC code that I programmed this one to. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the battery. All right, we're going to hold down the pause button. We're going to toss in that battery as we hold it down. Keep holding it. There we go. Password. The default password is 000 on these pagers. Okay, you can't probably see that. These pagers are like really weird on their reflection. So they have this like mirror coating almost to allow more light to come in. So we're just going to try it right there. Okay, cap code. So for some reason, cap code 1 on this pager, I can't adjust. I can't adjust the off and on. So if I try to scroll to off, it just doesn't do nothing. So we're going to skip cap code 1. We're going to move to cap code 2. That number right there, we're going to memorize. Actually, we're going to change that number, make it easy for us. So we're going to go 0. And then we're going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cap code 2. We're going to ignore cap codes. Baud rate 1200. Password. Verify. Adjust contrast. Pass. All right. That's what you want. Let's go ahead and go to transmit on the Portapack H2. Go to Pocsag. 1200 is what we want our baud rate to be at. The address that you want is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to go alphanumeric. frequency 168525, and done. Now let's go ahead and set our message and hit OK. Now, got all that set, and let's go to start and see what happens. All right, we got a message. You didn't hear it because I have it on silent, but we got a message. So if we go ahead and head down, there we go. Subscribe. Simple enough. 36 bucks gets you tinkering around with Pocsag on your Portapack H2. That's the transmit side of things, right? That's pretty simple. You know, this is a $36 pager, like I discussed. Setting up your own cap code, and you know your frequency, right? When you buy it, you know it's on the box. Simple as that. We're going to get into something a little bit more complicated now, and that is something that ham radio operators have started to use in recent years, and that is DAPnet. We're going to go back to receive, go back to Pocsag. Okay, now we're back on that 457 frequency. If you don't know, DAPnet is, how do I describe it? It's a kind of a radio protocol that was developed, I believe, in the UK, that allows a ham radio operator to transmit a signal from their phone, and that phone will then link to, for instance, in this case, a Raspberry Pi with a DD-MVRM hat, and then it'll take that signal, convert it into a Pocsag, do my antenna, and then it'll tell the pager, hey, so-and-so paged you. It's just a form of communication, a form of messaging, if you will. If you are interested in this, there's a few things you have to do with DAPnet. You have to create an account with DAPnet. It's best to kind of have your hardware ready to go. So Raspberry Pi, I think it's a 02, not just a 0. The 2 works better, it's faster. You'll need your DD-MVM, I think is what it's called, hat. This pager was one I bought originally, but the version of DAPnet I'm running with, it's not Pi-Star, but it's a different protocol like Pi-Star. It wouldn't allow me to use any frequency, so I had to get a pager that I can use the actual DAPnet frequency. So hence this one. This is a little kind of fancier. It's got USB micro on there. When I bought this pager, I pretty much had to tell the seller of what frequency I wanted it programmed to, so that was already included. So I just went with the standard DAPnet frequency. Your cap code / RIC code will be provided by DAPnet once you register your account. You do need to be a licensed ham radio operator, technician class or above, to register for DAPnet. So that's just the only little caveat there, because you are transmitting on licensed frequencies, right? Let's get into this. KJ7VUB, that is my transmitter. That is my call sign. I am KJ7VUB. So if we go to templates, I have testing, right? Now we can hit send, and let's see what happens. Oh, hang on. Before we do that, we're going to go to here, and we're going to enter the DAPnet frequency. So this makes it easy. We can just go load. We're going to go down to Pocsag. Now there's all these frequencies that some are still in use, most are not from what I've seen. You want the German ham DAPnet, the 4399875. That is the standard DAPnet calling frequency. So we're going to go ahead and select that guy right there, and done. All this is connected correctly, right? Going back to the Raspberry Pi with the hat, and all this is connected how it should be. When I hit send, I should see some stuff happen here. It might take a while. Oh, there it goes. Now we should have been able to see that message come through of that subscribed. So let's go to our config area, and we're gonna, let's see here, enable log, hide bad data, nah, use small font, log raw data. Okay, let's try that. All right, and we're just gonna go testing this time and send. There we go. In order for me to see my message, we got to change a few things. So let's look at what we changed. We changed down here, filter none. Okay. We can still enable log. We can log raw data if you'd like. Use small font, that kind of helps. And then hide bad data, let's leave that off. Hide address only, let's leave that off. Now, let's go to the phone here, and let's try this again. There we go. We can zoom in there. And we can see it says like and subscribe. There we go. Running some Pocsag. Got right here is the message of running Pocsag. That's pretty much the gist of that. So, if you are interested in doing this setup, I will post the links to get started into DAPnet/Pocsag, right? And some of the stuff that you may want to purchase. If you have a Raspberry Pi lying around, you can probably do this, and then just get the I think it's the MMDVM hat, Pi Star hat. So just type in your Google device, Pi Star MMDVN, and it's going to pull up a plethora of hats for you. This one I got on eBay. I believe it was maybe 41 bucks is what you're seeing here. And then of course you'll just need a Raspberry Pi 02. There are different models. This is UHF VHF model. There are some that have dual antennas that can do simultaneous receive and transmit. This one can only do receive or transmit. One signal at a time. So what we're picking up here is looks like a signal that came through from the thing with MMDVN system is that I have it set just to kind of give me all data coming through. You can turn that off, so more than likely it's just raw data being transferred, miscellaneous data that then the Portapack H2 is picking up. But you can see that that's how a Pocsag signal will look. Hats, again, there's plenty to choose from, right? So if you do want to get into this, do your own research type thing. Like I said, I will post the links of the one I purchased, as well as the Raspberry Pi system. Mine came with this little metal box. This antenna actually came off of my Yaesu Awesome VX3 since I threw the BNC and then I had the whip on it. So I just threw that antenna on there for now. I'll throw a link for this pager as well as this pager if you don't want to get into this one was like 70 bucks, 36 bucks. But again, this pager, the Apollo, will not work with DAPnet. You have to have one that you can program to the appropriate frequency and then also program your RIC/cap code. Okay. Going back into why the FCC ID matters is because if you come across the frequency and you're scanning, right? So say a lot of you guys are going to want to know the medical side of things, right? So if we go to Pocsag and go back, Pocsag, and we're going to scroll down here. So it's broken down by country, right? So we got France, we got Germany, we got Sweden, we got USA. Some of you guys are going to be wanting to know, since I'm based in the US, right? Is I want to see medical pages coming through. My area where I live at no longer uses medical pagers. If they do, I'm not receiving them. So something to consider there, that if you are searching for medical and you're not seeing any, it could be that your local hospital, your EMT, your fire, and so on and so forth has moved away from the paging system. If you are in Pocsag, again, you can go through all these frequencies on your Portapack under your little library here and just kind of find one, scan it, and then just sit on it and see what happens. Wait for 5-10 minutes, nothing comes through, move to the next one, yada 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 yada, right? If you are in a higher populated area, maybe your medical area is still using pagers. Keep in mind though that while decoding Pocsag may not be entirely illegal, retaining and saving that data is. So be very, very careful of what you receive on Pocsag, especially if you're receiving anything in a medical area. Simple advice, it's private information that you could be receiving, so be aware of that. Be smart and don't save it. Just be very careful what you're doing when you get into Pocsag, especially if you're receiving medical stuff, because that stuff can get you into big trouble. But I hope that covers enough of what Pocsag is and can do. I know this video was a lot longer, but there was a lot more to cover on Pocsag. And it took a while to get all this stuff, you know, like the pagers took a while to get in. This took a while to program. Restaurant pager, you know, I luckily came across that in my job that they didn't need anymore, so I got to play with it, and then I'll return it because I don't need it. So that's kind of cool. Going back to the Flipper Zero quick, that the Flipper Zero does have a lot of Pocsag stuff on it. You can read some of the DAP.net paging systems on Pocsag or on Flipper Zero, and you can also transmit the whole restaurant paging system from your Flipper Zero. I haven't seen the protocol on Flipper Zero for the Smart Stack Pro by PagerTech. I've seen every other brand but this one, so be aware of that, that if you come to a restaurant and they have a disc style pager and it says PagerTech and you have Flipper Zero, more than likely your Flipper Zero is not going to be able to do anything with it. You can, though, however, raw record that signal, right? So if we go to capture, right? And for now, we're going to leave this off, okay? But what I want you to see is what happens over here on this screen when we actually send a Pocsag signal, because it's kind of interesting to see what it looks like, right? So we're going to zoom this in, and then we'll have this in frame. So 5, 7, send. Now give it a second. You see that right there? And then you got this. So that's what a Pocsag paging frequency looks like. It's very interesting. Let's see that again, because that first portion looks almost like Morse code to me. Let's send this again. Look at that little dits and dots, and then you got your hard signal coming through. So it's almost like that's your initial audio. You know, say consider it like a consider it like a CCTS tone, right? That's your tone that's going to unlock this to say, hey, I'm receiving. Get ready to open up, and then that raw data that comes in after that, that red, is the actual data saying, here's what you're going to do. So that's kind of cool to look at. What we can do is we can record that, right? So we're going to go 5, 7. Oh, let's go back. Cancel, cancel, cancel. 5, 7. And then we're going to go hit record, and we're going to hit send. And then, burp. There's your raw signal coming through, and then we're going to hit, once it's done, let's go ahead and stop. Perfect. Now, let's go replay side. All right, we're going to go replay to what we just captured. We're going to go here. Let's go this one. All right, let's try this guy. There it is. Now watch this. We can do that again, and then you can see that signal. We'll zoom in closer so you can really see that signal. There we go. All right, let's get this out of the way a tad bit. Let's go ahead and play. There's that unlock, and then here comes the actual signal, and the page will go off. So that's how you can do a basic capture and replay. I hope I know that was lengthy. I hope that covered a lot on Pocsag for you guys. Again, it took a while to kind of get all this mess together and running properly. Not that this was a big thing. The biggest part was getting the Pi-Star system and the paging system running together, and then of course this one not working out for me originally, but it still worked out. You know, I could still obviously transmit from the H2 to the Apollo, and then I can transmit from my phone to the Pi via internet, and then from the internet system, and then it goes to VHF, UHF, right, and then to the pager. So and then from there you can receive said signals. So again, I'm sorry that this was a lengthy video. It was very fun to make though, so I appreciate you guys watching, and thank you for your time. I'm going to try to cut this video down as much as I can because I'm going on 51 minutes now. So I'm going to try to chop this down as much as I can. But don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment if you're interested in any of this stuff. I will leave links to almost everything here, right? How to kind of get into any of this stuff if you guys are interested. So again, thank you, and I will see you in the next video.